that news, as always, ladies and gentlemen, it's the 4th and 1 podcast. Did I say news? I meant noise. We're live from Lancaster, Lidditz, Pennsylvania. As always, anchor.fm/4th and 1, Instagram at 4th and 1 podcast. I'm your boy, Simeon Schlicker, a.k.a. self-nickname, a.k.a. Fancy Trash Can, sitting beside, as always, Captain Boring, Mr. Bedhead himself.
What it do?
So we're doing this, for those of you not keeping track, which is probably none of you, because we have a pretty consistent fan base of like 6 people. So of those of you not keeping track, we're doing this every other week thing till college football comes back. As always, for some reason, if this is your first time, welcome. Subscribe. Give us a like. Give us a listen. We like to talk all things college football specifically, and we're both big Michigan fans. Some big news, and we're going to start off, speaking of Michigan, in the Big Ten. I found this slightly interesting. Tony Pettini, I'm assuming is how you pronounce that, is the new commissioner for the Big Ten, former MLB COO, as well as, I have to see here, I'm pulling up.
He did some work previously with college football and ABC, I believe, as well as...
He is a former COO, succeeding under current, blah, 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 blah. His media experience comes from work at ABC Sports, CBS, and MLB Network.
Yeah. So he's been around.
His work in college sports includes helping create the Bowl Championship Series back when ABC was working with the NCAA tournament while at CBS. He also worked extensively with the NFL at CBS. This is pretty clear.
Harvard Law, Harvard College, and Harvard Law graduate.
Wow.
And really, they brought him on for his TV deal knowledge.
That makes sense, and I'm glad you brought that up, because especially with the MLB and the way that their TV deal is structured and is getting restructured, we're going to see, as we've discussed many a times, with more money coming into college sports, we're going to see these TV deals restructured as they are, they're top table. They're not Premier League NFL numbers, but when it comes to sports, the college sports are the top, weirdly enough, the top tier, competing with the likes of MLB and the NHL and some other mid-tier tables. I have no idea how much Apple paid for the MLS this year. MLS deal. So I think it's interesting that he also has specifically the MLS will receive a quarter of a bill, from Apple. So, I mean, what was the Michigan, well, not the Michigan, what was the Big Ten deal with Fox?
It was with Fox. Well, it was with CBS.
With their new total.
It was $7-8 billion. I'm looking it up.
So you think just so this runs smoothly, or you think this runs for the next one? I'm getting stuck on the
7 years,
baseball.
$7 billion. 7 years, $7 billion. I do. I think that this is, as we've discussed more, now it's more of a money sport. As you just touched on there, outgrossing MLS and hockey, and right up there with the NBA. This is about keeping the TV revenue coming in, doing what's best to keep the TV revenue coming in for the conference and having that aligned. And since he was the COO of the MLB and he worked with ABC and CBS on their kind of TV contract side, this is what that screams to me is he's going to do what's best for the conference as long as it makes the conference buku dollars.
I think that's fair. We go to Micaiah for his knowledge in college the college realm as well as his encyclopedia knowledge of college facts. Do you think this is the... We just had 2 Big Ten teams in the Frozen Four, Minnesota and Michigan. And I'm not sure. Did Minnesota win? Do you know?
Minnesota didn't win, no.
So it was the Quinnipiac or
Quinnipiac
wherever they're located?
Yep.
So 2 Big Ten teams in the Frozen Four. The college baseball World Series, not World Series, but Championship Series, I think is what they call it, is hosted in Omaha. I'm just wondering if you think they're also bringing someone in who's been around the block to try to build their other brands.
Maybe it would be smart if they did. I think just naturally, though, with new TV contract during not football season, that all of these networks and sub-networks that be like the Big Ten network and, all the other sub-networks that there are, will look to put other college sports on television because college sports are growing in popularity. There is a subset of the population still out there that views college sports as more, pure?
Sure.
I should say, because it's not, wasn't about the money, and still there isn't about the big buku bucks.
Yeah.
Now, again, there's a lot of money floating around, but I still feel like there is more passion for college sports than there is professional sports when it are things outside of football and basketball and baseball. For example, lacrosse. Lacrosse was on television. It was John Hopkins. I guess you go to John Hopkins either to become a doctor or to play lacrosse. They're in the Big Ten. It was John Hopkins and Penn State. Game went into overtime. It was very exciting. Yes, I did watch an hour and a half of college lacrosse.
Whoa.
Yes, I did. And now I'm sort of into lacrosse, so that's stay tuned for that update there. And it was Penn State ended up winning in overtime, so kudos to them. And then I was talking with one of the my coworkers at work, and he said he went to professional lacrosse game and he hated it. But he watches it on TV and he's like, oh, actually, this is pretty interesting. So I think that's just one example.
So the issue with knowing the little bit I do about professional lacrosse, there's technically 3, but there's 2 main types of lacrosse. There's outdoor lacrosse, which is what everybody's used to from a professional perspective. That's the better one, in my opinion. And then there's indoor lacrosse, which apparently has all the money, and that's a bunch of guys on the indude, and they put a sumo wrestler in a small hockey net, and you got to try to score on it. And it's just boring because it's a lot less scoring. What was the final score of the Penn State John Hopkins game?
9-8, I want to say.
Yeah. So these games will be like 6-5, maybe.
Oh, okay.
So it's just they put a big dude in a bunch of it's low scoring game, and I think that's what makes lacrosse fun. Fun fact here for you: do you know how technically Lockhaven Wrestling is D1?
Yes,
right.
I did know that. Yes,
and then that means I think it's like cheerleading or gymnastics is D1 on the girls' side. I forget exactly what the women's sport is that has to be D1 because of Title IX. John Hopkins is a Division III school. They play in the same league around us in Lancaster County, for those of you not listening, as like F&M, Dickinson, used to be E-Town, those sort of school. Only the lacrosse and I don't know what women's sport plays D1, and they play in the Big Ten and D1. So there's a fun fact for you. More fun facts switching out west. We talked about the Big 12 a little bit, not the Big 12, I'm sorry. We talked a lot of bit. We talked about the SEC, kind of previewed the preview of the preview.
Yeah, go listen to that epi.
It was a very good epi, if I do say so myself. One rumor, one non-confirmed rumor, one confirmed non-rumor. There we go. That's the words I'm looking for. Cliff Kingsbury will be the new... Do we know what he's doing at USC? But he's going to be
an offensive analyst and a quarterback's coach.
So
So this is kind of funny because it's come full circle for him. He got fired from Texas Tech, for those of you who don't remember. Took the offensive coordinator job at USC. This was pre-Lincoln Riley. This was still under Todd Hilton, I think his name was. Then the Arizona Cardinals wanted to draft Kyler Murray, so they came knocking. USC let him out of his contract. He became the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. That obviously panned out the way that it did. Flew to Thailand with a one-way ticket. Wasn't taking any other phone calls from anyone. And then I guess came back to Southern California and took their call. So you have, I was talking with Roberto earlier today, you have some of the greatest air raid minds on an offensive side of the staff in college football. You probably have the greatest set of offensive minds in college football on one team with the best quarterback / player and the best probably offensive position group in college football.
At least high up there.
Yeah. Because I believe their offensive coordinator is Graham Harrell.
I have no idea. I can tell you in like 2 seconds while you look that up. The funny thing is, and here's the issue. What did they go last year? 11-3 last year. What did they play in? I'm hoping it's Alex. No, it's Josh Henson.
Yes, it is Josh Henson. Well, it says Josh Henson on one side and then Graham Harrell on the other side. So,
well, let's look here real quick. So they had a bunch of people leave. Offensive quality assistant left, but nobody specifically.
So Graham Harrell was there last year. Now Graham Harrell is with Purdue. As it were.
So actually, that's not updated.
That's not a bad signing. So it is Josh Henson, who was on the staff last year, I guess. And so it's still a great scheme. Anyone on staff with Lincoln Riley is only going to upgrade that, but I didn't know Graham Harrell left. So it is Josh Henson, Lincoln Riley, and Cliff Kingsbury, and Caleb Williams managing this offense in the Pac-12. That's pretty great.
With Jordan Addison, they have their returning Josh Falo, which is their returning. Well, they have a returning tight end. Did they have what's his name?
Who?
I'm trying to remember. It's not C.J.
I think Jordan Addison left. Jordan Addison definitely went.
Nope, he's a returning starter according to. I'm just double checking.
I'm pretty sure Jordan Addison left.
Oh, that's the one. That's who I was thinking of. I'm trying to think before transferring. Announced that he would be transferring to the university to play in. I mean, he's eligible for another year.
Dorian Singer, in the wake of Jordan Addison's new number one target. Singer is coming over from Arizona. He had 1,100 yards and 6 touchdowns last year and may develop. So what the Pac-12 should be called this year is Colorado and then all the other teams that are going to win the Pac-12.
I'm thinking of Mario Williams, by the way. That's
Mario
who I thought I was thinking of.
Okay.
Who ended up being his number one target anyway.
So what we're going to call the Pac-12 is Colorado and then all the other teams who actually are going to win the conference.
Okay, so this is what I'm saying. We have one of probably the best set offensive talented teams from a position perspective.
Sure.
Okay, all around. I have no idea how good their line is, but you have one of, if not the best, college football quarterback this year.
Yep. You
have two really good wideouts, probably a good running back, some 5'10", 230-pound running back.
You don't know any of the names, but you will about week 3, whatever it is.
Yep. Which we should look at their schedule now, just so we have it. And I want to look here, sorry, as I scroll down. No, they don't actually have it too bad. So, sorry. one of the best in one of, if not the worst conference in college football. Let me finish my thought there. Because you have UCLA and USC, the team we're talking about, transferring out at the end of the year of the Big 12. You have Colorado, that's another fun fact, possibly transferring back to the Big 12. They're classic. And their brand new, shiny hire in Deion Sanders, Coach Primetime. So, yeah, I'm not sure what to make of them this year.
Colorado?
No, the Pac-12 in general, right? They're losing.
It's going to be. I feel like the Pac-12 has entered a cycle similar to the ACC, the Big Ten, and the SEC. The top teams are going to be at the top teams. You're going to have USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Utah. And then you're going to have everybody else. And Colorado's going to muddle around, and Colorado's going to get all the headlines. But at the end of the day, Colorado's 6-6, 7-5, and has gotten absolutely blown off the face of the earth by Oregon, USC, Utah, if they face them. These schools. And then who's left fighting for the title is everybody else. Deion Sanders, Colorado's going to get all the headlines, but when it comes down to the nitty-gritty and playoff time, it's going to be USC and UCLA and Oregon and Utah.
So, yes, that's not my issue.
Then what's your issue?
My issue is that the people you just named, besides Oregon and Utah, which Oregon severely underperformed last year, I think we can both say that, but you're basically just going to have Oregon and Utah starting next year, and maybe Colorado, most likely Colorado. And we don't know how good they're going to be, right? This is Primetime's first time in the primetime. This is we haven't seen a mass exodus like this,
right? So
of top
again,
school.
So again, best case scenario, just like with the Big 12 last year and TCU, best case scenario for the Pac-12 is a team not named USC or UCLA wins the conference. But here's what the Pac-12 can lean on is the back-to-back conference champion is a team that's not going anywhere. It's the Utah Utes. Everyone talks about Colorado. Last year, everyone was talking about USC. The year before that, everyone was talking about Oregon. And guess who came out on top? The team with 3 losses, the team with 2 losses the year before, the Utah Utes. Kyle Whittingham will have the Utah Utes ready to punch people in the mouth at the line of scrimmage and compete for another conference championship.
He's been there for 19 years.
He is the longest tenured head coach in the sport.
He
replaced Urban Meyer, yes.
That's what I was just about to ask. He started as a D-line coach. He went to BYU, so he's from San Luis Obispo, one of my favorite one of my favorite names. He went to BYU. But that is interesting. He's a defensive-minded coach.
And then let's also not forget about Oregon State. I think actually the quote-unquote bottom half of the conference is actually more interesting than the top half. Can the bottom half actually start to make some noise? Oregon State went 10-3 last year, and guess who arrived to town, if you do remember? That is DJ Uiagalelei out of Clemson, the transfer from Clemson.
Oh, wait, he's at Oregon now?
So they went 10-3 last year, made some noise.
Yeah.
They felt like a late-season loss prevented them from being in the conversation for the college football playoff, and I would agree with 3 losses. They get a veteran quarterback coming in here, and they beat Oregon last year, so they have bragging rights. So can Oregon make some noise? Obviously, we're going to watch Colorado. And then Cal, Justin Wilcox. This is win or go home time for Justin Wilcox and Cal, who never seemed to be any good.
And you also have, and I want to come back to something that you'll find very interesting with your encyclopedia knowledge. And I'm going to test you on something. You also have a new head coach from San Diego. No, from
Sacramento State.
Sacramento State, who was a good team
At Stanford.
coming up into Stanford.
Yep.
He's not going to turn anything around this year. It's Stanford. They were at the bottom of the barrel since Harbaugh left.
No, but Sacramento State, it's very interesting. I'm reading this. At Sacramento State, he took over a team that went 2-8 and 0-7 in conference in 2018. Right?
Yeah.
Very similar to Stanford.
Yeah.
Then proceeded to lose just one conference game over the next 3 seasons. Replicating... And then they made I think the semifinal last year against Montana State. Oh boy, was that game fun to watch because it was cold, it was snowing, it was like negative 35 or something like that. It's going to be a new brand of offense in Stanford too because at Sacramento State, number 3 in total offense with 500 yards per game using a 2-quarterback system.
Whoa.
Yep.
That's huge.
Yep.
Because Michigan couldn't do that. Which, by the way...
No team really can use a 2-quarterback system and succeed.
Well, okay, so yes. We have to come back later, probably next episode or whatever, to Iowa. That's an interesting story.
Get out of here. If Caitlin Clark scores more points than your entire football team does, and you get 7 points per turn, get out of here.
Okay, but you can't
I don't
look
want
at
to talk about
But
Iowa.
you have to see. Okay, but you have to.
No,
you have to
I
for
don't
one
have
exact.
to
Yes,
do
yes, you
anything.
do. You have to for one exact reason and one exact reason only. Iowa sucks so badly. They fired both their OC and head coach, right?
No, they didn't. They're both still there.
Okay, Iowa sucks so badly that they had to go to the good schools and take their sloppy seconds. Because what are the 2 biggest transfers that Iowa transferred in?
It's Eric All and Cade McNamara.
Yeah, and what are you going to see? A lot of Cade McNamara throws to Eric All. Or they're just going to run the ball 15 times and then get 3 yards and then win 7-0.
Well, it actually is sort of... Okay, so the one thing Cade McNamara does really well is not turn the ball over and put the ball where it needs to be put. So it's actually a good pickup for Iowa because their quarterback play was atrocious. And so it makes them a little dangerous in that West Division now because Iowa will always play good special teams and good defense. I'm so fed up with teams that are stuck in the 1980s and 1990s that it's not even funny. So why should I talk about teams that can't even get out of the 1990s or now 2000s, as 2000s was 20 years ago? Why should I talk about them when their style of football is not pleasing to my eyes?
Only because they took 2 Michigan guys.
Oh, well, okay. That's fair.
Okay.
So what are we testing my knowledge with?
I have to confirm this here real quick. Okay. That sucks because I thought I was going to be right. It's still interesting. Okay? So, this is a coach, a coordinator, and I want you to kind of give me a rundown on the teams, and I'm going to give you the teams that you'll know about. 2002 to 2004 Oregon.
You want me to give you the coordinators of 2002
No. Give me like a quick highlight just of them. I can give you the 2002, 2004 Oregon. That one's easy for me.
Besides the fact that they weren't very good?
But what's the one thing that they did? Micaiah, it's on all of the highlights.
Oh, they beat Michigan but that was in 07.
Oh, was that? I thought that was in 04.
No, that was not.
Darn it. All right. So, never mind. This game doesn't work.
Okay, well, do you want to play the game anyway?
Well, sure. Okay. 2005 to 2008 Utah. That was Alex Smith, wasn't it? Or is that post
That was Alex Smith and Urban Meyer, yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. Except I don't think it was, question mark. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds. Let me confirm that.
I'm pretty sure.
Nope. 2005 was Kyle Whittingham.
Oh, okay, so it would have been after that.
2009 and 10, California.
Oh, that's like, I'm pretty sure that's like the Deshaun Jackson era. Yeah, 100% that's the Deshaun Jackson era. That is, okay, everyone needs to Google right now, pause the podcast, and then come back. Everyone needs to go look up Deshaun Jackson punt return versus Tennessee.
Yeah.
And then the clip itself is, I believe, 9 minutes long. You're going to watch the whole thing. You're going to watch Kirk Herbstreit absolutely geek out. But there's one move that Deshaun Jackson puts on in that punt return that is unhuman. He is running at full speed ahead, stops on a dime, and jumps backwards and sideways, and then immediately accelerates for a touchdown. Everyone, pause the podcast right here. Go look up Deshaun Jackson punt return versus Tennessee, the University of Tennessee, not because it might come up with the Tennessee Titans. And just enjoy that and then come on back. So we'll pause here and then we'll let you do your thing and come back. Continue.
Okay. I'm going to skip 2011, 2012, San Diego State, because who cares?
San Diego State.
Yeah.
How was
2013 to 2014 Wisconsin.
2013 to 2014?
Yeah.
That would be Melvin Gordon.
Mm-hmm. 2015 to 2018 Vanderbilt. There's nothing special there.
Besides the fact that they suck?
Yeah. I thought that was, and if it was, that'd be hilarious and really go to prove my point. I thought that was James Franklin's Vanderbilt time. It's not.
No, that was, yes, much before then.
Unfortunately. And then from 2019 to the present, he is Utah's offensive coordinator. This man is Andy Ludwig.
Okay.
This is a guy you've never heard of before, but has a flash in the pan quite a few times, has proven, of like talent or weird like spikes in just coming out of nowhere and being an offensive coordinator for a good time. And I bring this up because the point I'm trying to make is bring it back to kind of what we were doing last week of looking at the Utah Utes. Their defensive coordinator has been there for it's their 8th season. It's Mr. Ludwig's 9th season, and it's Kyle Whittingham's 19th season. And they got something going. And here's the best part. Let me give you their schedule.
The Utah Utes?
The Utah Utes schedule. And they have, I'm trying to see, so they have 3 non-conference games. I don't know what's going on with this third non-conference game. They are home at Florida. Home with Florida, sorry.
So remember last year, everyone, Anthony Richardson and Billy Napier's first season, Utah walked into the swamp, had a 10-point fourth quarter lead, squandered it. If they win that game, they're probably in the college football playoff, even with 2 losses. So continue. So they get Florida at home.
Then they're at Baylor.
Wow, their non-conference schedule's actually pretty good. What game were we playing last year last week with the numbers? Weren't we doing something with the numbers or the rating system?
Weren't we giving it just like I don't remember playing a game. I thought we were just going this one's strong, this one's weak.
I'm pretty sure we were playing a game. I'm pretty sure.
I think we were playing like trash or pass, basically. Pass or
smash or pass?
Yeah, basically. Like, do you think this is a good pick or not? I don't know, dude. This is 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I don't remember what I had for dinner yesterday. I just remembered, but you know.
Okay, sure.
And then their third game's Weber State.
So at non-conference for Utah, they beat Baylor. By the way, is going to be no slouch. If they beat Baylor and Florida, and then do they have any of the big ones on the schedule, like USC?
At USC, home at Oregon, home at Colorado, which is a rivalry game, and home at UCLA. So they're only at USC.
So with their out non-conference, you beat Baylor and Florida. that probably buys you 2 conference losses and a chance to still make the college football playoff, as long as they're close. At the very least, it buys you 1.
Yeah.
So Utah's in a very good position. You know what you're getting with Utah. I keep saying it. I keep saying it again and again and again. You know what you're getting. You're getting hard, smash-mouth football. You're getting discipline along both the offensive and defensive lines of scrimmage. You're getting solid defense, and you're getting a running game that's running downhill. Plus, they're going to get Emory Simmons in, who's a 4-star wide receiver from Indiana.
Thanks for looking this up. I didn't know who their new quarterback is, because didn't they lose, what's-his-face?
I believe... No, I think Cameron Rising is coming back. They're replacing Dalton Kincaid and Clark Phillips, who are both going to the NFL. But again, Kyle Whittingham been there so long, he's got that system rolling over. So as long as you, much like Iowa, as long as you have a quarterback that doesn't turn the ball over and actually completes passes, you're going to be okay.
Which Cameron Rising has proven to be. Oh, he started at Texas.
Yes, he did.
Was a redshirt. And he's proven himself to be a good quarterback. Completion percentage at 66%. We have a passer rating of 152, was his best in all of college last year.
They're returning both starting receivers, Devon Vale and Money Parks. What a name. Rate that name.
8.
And ensuring Risings has plenty of options. So they have 3 legit wide receivers. They're going to be good at running back, of course. They're replacing Dalton Kincaid, who was the leading pass catcher, but at tight end, it's okay. This, again, it ain't bad. Colorado and USC, they're going to get all the fluff and all the hype, especially Colorado, and I think Utah, UCLA, Oregon State, all these teams are like, yeah, go pay attention to Deion Sanders. Go pay attention to Travis Hunter. Go pay attention to Shadur Sanders. Go pay attention over there. Don't look over here. We're going to do our thing, and then when the fall rolls around, we're going to show you how good we really are.
They like that kind of nitty-gritty spirit. Let's take it back over to USC. I really hate that I don't remember what game we were playing now. Because let's look at the non-conference games for the University of Southern California Fighting Trojans. San Jose State at home.
Yeah, not great.
Nevada at home.
Not great, yep.
Didn't they just get a new coach too? Or was that last year?
I don't know.
Then they start Stanford at home.
Okay, so their first 3 games... Probably a walk in a park.
At home.
Yeah.
Their head coach is Ken Wilson. It's his second season. He was Oregon's co-defensive coordinator in 2021. That's why we know the name. He went 2-10 last year in the Mountain West Division, so he's doing a great job over there. Their only other non-conference game, and I bet you can guess it, is you can guess it by the trophy. I know this. We like doing trophies here. The Jeweled Shillelagh. Yes,
the Shillelagh is Notre Dame.
There it is.
Notre Dame.
They are at Notre Dame. I'm sure that will be prime time October 14th on NBC with a commentator you've never heard of.
So Notre Dame, it's Iron Eagle's kid. I
don't even know who that is.
Iron Eagle? Well, he's taking over the Final Four for Jim Nantz. Iron Eagle probably has the best voice in all of football. That's not true. Joe Davis does for Fox. He's incredible. He calls the World Series. Go look up Joe Davis. Everyone pause. Go look up Joe Davis.
You're really getting them... Hold on.
Oh, now we're just...
Oh, it's this guy. Yeah, he is great. He is a kid who's also doing it?
I guess.
He's one of those names that you don't know. We also like, for those of you who don't pay attention, we like ranking commentators here.
Again, who's not paying attention at this point? Like, we only have, 7 people who listen.
You know what? Maybe one person who's new came in and is like, okay, so far I like the moxie of these two, you know?
So far, I like that they love their commentators. Yeah, baby.
Dude, we're so nerdy here, it doesn't matter. We're ranking non-conference games and talking about commentators.
USC's...
If you don't like that, you don't like NFL football.
USC's non-conference schedule makes it so that they pretty much have to run the table in the Pac-12.
Yeah.
Notre Dame is a savior, 100%, but it makes it so they have to run the table in the Pac-12.
So they are at Oregon. They host Utah, which didn't go well for them last year. They were technically at Utah last year, but still didn't go well for them last year.
They got an L and then an L. Yeah.
And they are at Colorado.
Okay.
So
stop with this Colorado. Don't bring up Colorado. I don't care.
Micaiah, I'm just saying...
I understand. I understand what you're trying to do, but Colorado is not on the same
you want me to go,
wavelength.
they're home with UCLA? That's stupid.
UCLA's the better matchup.
How?
How do you mean how? Chip Kelly's been there for more than 5 minutes. Chip Kelly has the recruiting pool and depth a little deeper than Colorado. Colorado is all surface. Colorado for this year and maybe half of next season is surface. What you see on the surface, their starters, that's it. At least UCLA, their backups might be able to make some plays. Colorado is a surface school only.
That
title? Question mark?
Okay. You say that now.
And I will be right.
Micaiah, I'm looking at their transfers in besides Dartmouth and Fresno State. Their transfers in one Michigan, obviously all the Jackson State guys. A lot of 2 guys from USF, they're 2 wide receivers from USF, mind you. Couple guys from Arkansas, Alabama, Kentucky. One dude from Michigan.
Who'd they get from Michigan?
They got Taylor Upshaw from Michigan.
Taylor Upshaw went to Colorado. That's fine. He sucked anyway.
Yeah, I know. That's why I wasn't. I understand what you're saying, and it definitely should be the title. Colorado surface level team, but at TCU, Nebraska, Colorado State.
I already told you what's happening.
No, let me hold on. Rocky Mountain Showdown is that title. How good of a name is that out of 10?
Wait, who are they playing? Rocky Mountain title?
The Rocky Mountain Showdown is the Colorado State rivalry.
Oh, that's a great. Yeah, no, like 9.5. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, hold up. What's better? That or the Rumble in the Rockies?
Oh, no, Rumble in the Rockies is way better, bro.
That is their rivalry against Utah. So
Rumble in the Rockies is great.
Micaiah, let's go over this real quick.
Okay, what do you want to go over?
I'm not saying what we've been playing, the game we've been playing.
Okay.
I'm not saying they're going to win any of these. I'm not. I think they're going to go 7-7. I think they're going to be a 500 team this year.
You can't go 7-7 in college football, but okay.
No, you cannot. You can go
7-6.
That's the one I'm looking for. Just over 500. They're at TCU.
That's a W. I already told everyone. W.
At the beginning of the season, that's going to look really good. At the end of the season, it's going to be like, why did they play TCU?
Correct.
You and I both agreed at that.
Yes.
Then they're at Nebraska.
Okay.
They're home. They're home against Nebraska. I'm sorry.
That's an L.
I think we went over this when we did this with Nebraska for some reason. Or we already did this with Colorado.
Okay.
Then they're home against Colorado State.
The W, obviously.
That's possibly an L. That's possibly not an L. The Nebraska game for me. That's a coin flip for me. I think that's 50-50.
What are you holding?
A pair of needle-nose pliers.
Nice. Okay, continue.
At Oregon.
L.
Okay. I don't think so. I think that's a W.
I know. We argued about that last week.
Yeah, Oregon's not as good.
How do we remember that we argued about Colorado, Oregon, but we don't remember the game we played?
Because we're both having deja vu right now regarding
deja vu all over again?
Yes.
Okay.
Home against USC.
L.
Probably.
It's going to be sold out, rocking, and then Caleb Williams is just going to rip everyone's heart out. It's going to get the primetime slot, ABC, whatever, and then it's going to be sold out, blackout, whatever. First half, and then by the end of the third quarter,
at Arizona State.
W.
Shut up the noise in my head. Home against Stanford.
W.
Rose Bowl against UCLA.
L.
Again, probably not. Either that or UCLA. We're going to go to them next. Home against Oregon State and Arizona.
It's a Oregon State's an L. Arizona's a W.
What?
I just told you about Oregon State.
No, you did not.
Listen.
No, you did not tell me about Oregon State.
Please, everyone, take this time to rewind to the beginning of the podcast when I talked about Jonathan Smith and Oregon State going 10-3, getting DJ Uiagalelei, and come on back.
Oh,
then.
I thought that was Oregon.
Everyone, we are being hosted by a complete idiot. His name is Simeon Schlicker.
I think co-hosted at this point.
He had to give himself a nickname because no one else would. No one else took pity on him.
That's literally what I said. I said my name was AKA self-nickname. Come on, you got to give me that one.
He wants to be part of the Cool Kids Club, but he cannot, so he gave himself a nickname.
The KKK are taking all the members right now.
Thank you. I don't think they want to be known as that. Abort!
Their last two games are away at Washington State and Utah, which I think is a W and an L. Even I think that, and you think that exact same thing.
Yeah,
again,
probably
6-7. But let's say they start off 3-0. Very possible.
Yeah, sure.
They go to Oregon. Very possible 4-0 start.
No, L.
No. Oregon's not as good as you think they are.
No, Oregon is as good as I think they are.
How?
Because Oregon's like a 9-3 team, and they have Bo Nix returning, and Bo Nix had a great season, and they have a good defense, and
he fell apart down there.
And it's Dan Lanning, and it's Oregon in Autzen Stadium at home against Deion Sanders. At this point, a 3-0 Deion Sanders. Shedeur Sanders isn't going to be able to communicate with the person next to him. It's going to be that loud. Shedeur Sanders has never endured the type of crowd noise at Jacksonville State.
Jackson State.
Whatever. It don't matter.
Two separate schools.
It could be Jacksonville State,
Very racist of you.
Jackson State, and the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it's not as loud. Get out of here. You don't even know. Do you pay attention to crowd noise and how much it affects these players?
For the first 3 weeks?
No, it doesn't. It affects these players who are not mature enough to deal with it. And the Colorado, what I'm trying to get people is the Colorado, I do not believe, I don't know this for sure, I do not believe that the Colorado players are veteran and mature enough, especially a host of them coming from Jackson State, an FCS level college, to play in the crowd noise that these Pac-12 schools have. Because let's be honest, Utah...
Some of the Pac-12 schools.
Some of the Pac-12. Utah is unbelievably loud. Autzen Stadium is probably one of the loudest venues in all of college football, if not all of football itself. Washington's super loud. Oregon State's super loud.
Okay, so we're going to pump the brakes here a little bit.
Pump the brakes on what?
First of all, does Washington have their own stadium, or do they play in Seattle Stadium?
No.
Okay. So Washington has their own stadium. Second of all, no one's going to a Washington Huskies game this year.
Everyone's going to what? Dude.
Who did Washington transfer in? Micaiah?
I can't even with you anymore. Michael Penix is still there. Washington was 10-3 last year, bro.
Yeah, this is the West Coast. No one pays attention to the West Coast.
But that's what I'm saying. No one pays attention, but actually the Pac-12 is actually a pretty decent conference.
Okay, But that's the argument that we're having right now.
You don't believe that the Pac-12 is a decent conference?
Not after 2024, they're not.
I'm not talking about 2024. I'm talking about 2023.
No, I don't think they are. The only listen,
You're out of your gourd.
The only shot. Let's talk about this. Hold on. We will come back to the Pac-12s. Let's go over to UCLA. Chip Kelly's 6th season.
The only thing I don't know with UCLA is their quarterback play. I think they're going to be really good on the ground. I think they're going to be really good at skill positions. I just don't know with their quarterback. I don't.
Washington was 11-2 for the record.
Even better. UCLA does have a 17-year-old out of Michigan who flipped from Oregon to UCLA. His last name's Moore. He's unbelievable. So they're losing DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. He was a starter for them, a 4-year starter for UCLA. So they're losing him. They're losing Zach Charbonnet, and they're losing some offensive line talent.
Another Michigan guy.
But UCLA's problem wasn't offense last year, and it's never been offense. It's been defense. So can Chip Kelly get a defensive coordinator?
Deontay Lynn is who they hired this offseason. Deontay Lynn was the Baltimore Ravens safety coach before that.
So Chip Kelly is going basically what Harbaugh did, and he's going to the NFL to get someone to stop these college offenses.
He was a 4-star scout ranking in high school, and he was a 3-star. He went to Penn State, actually. So all the Penn Staters know who he is.
So again, I think UCLA. I don't think they're. I mean, I think they're
So
like 9-3.
So let's start off the season home, Coastal Carolina.
W.
At San Diego State.
W.
Home, North Carolina Central.
Okay, W. Obviously, they're 3-0.
Okay, at Utah.
L.
Home, Washington State.
W.
At Oregon State.
L.
At Stanford.
W.
Colorado, W, we get it. At Arizona.
W.
Home against Arizona State.
W.
Over the mountains at USC.
L.
And home against California.
W. 9-3.
Okay, 9-3. Like you said, last year, now that we've gone with that, you've put, besides UCLA and besides USC and Utah, who went 11-3 and 10-4 overall last year, finished 8-1, 7-2. Did they share? No. Utah won the conference off of a tiebreak. I don't even know how that worked. Oh, championships. They're doing championships now. Washington was 11-2 last year. Like
yes,
you said 7-2 in conference,
but lost the tiebreakers to Utah.
Oregon, they finished ranked 8th in the nation.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We have talked about this here a little bit. I got to give props, but I'll come back to my point. Number 15, Oregon, 10-3, 7-2 in conference. Number 17, Oregon State, 10-3, 6-3 in conference. Number 21, UCLA, 9-4, 6-3 in conference. Then we drop off at Washington State, who was 4-5 in conference. Arizona,
but made me money because I told you to take the +5.5 over win total. So
you did. Arizona was 3-6.
Yeah.
Did they lose Herm Edwards halfway through? Or was that Arizona State?
That's Arizona State.
California, Arizona State, Stanford, Colorado. My point being is you basically have already called it yourself. Your strongest two teams are USC and Utah, just like they were last year, on paper, at the beginning of the season. The issue is one of those teams needs to win out if they want to be in the college football. Straight up. Every single game by a lot.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
And that's USC. Yep.
That's USC.
Yep.
The other team has to just win.
Yes.
Preferably without a loss. Because when you look at the effing SEC, just the SEC East, right? This year, outplays all of them.
Sure, but what
on paper?
But what are we
My
doing?
point is, I don't care who wins the Pac-12. I don't care what trophies they get anymore. There's only one trophy that matters and 4 teams that get in to compete for it. And currently, there's only probably one floating out there if they're lucky. Name me a team here in the Pac-12 that can go to Dallas. We'll be nice, but we're putting it in the South. And take on an 11-1. Nope, that doesn't work. A 12-1, 12-2, sorry. No. What am I doing? A 12-1.
There you go. You got it. Yep, that makes sense.
Georgia. Name me a school who can go to Minnesota or another, I don't know, indoor, Las Vegas.
Yep.
And can
Well, actually,
take on.
It might be in Vegas this year. Anyway,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Continue.
And can take on a 13-0 Ohio State or Michigan.
No, your point is valid. I understand your point.
So you can't tell me that this isn't a
No.
sorry,
no.
Mom, shitty league.
No, but I can. But I can tell you that it's not. Because just because they're not toe-to-toe, and I would say this, USC and Caleb Williams, and then I pick another kind of random team because the Pac-12 always surprises you with one ranked team, Utah, Washington.
I'm saying it's Colorado.
Whoever. Right.
But you hate me for that.
Yeah, well, Colorado's a dumb decision, so whatever. Pick any team. They're not going to go toe-to-toe. Like, I understand that. But that's not what you're... If you are strictly looking and saying whether or not a conference sucks, whether or not they could go to toe-to-toe with an Ohio State, Michigan, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, whatever it is, right? Especially in the SEC. Then your enjoyment of the sport has gone from this to this. Because your enjoyment of the sport now is about 6 teams long. And that's just not the way to look at the sport.
Okay.
Because there is still pride in conference championships.
Totally different argument.
No, I'm not. Because you're saying the conference sucks because the winner of the Pac-12 can't go toe-to-toe with Georgia. Guess what? I'm not sure that the winner of the Big Ten can go toe-to-toe with Georgia. I'm not so sure that Michigan somehow pulls off a 18-point comeback against TCU and walks into wherever they were playing the national championship last year. And the outcome...
That was Los Angeles, right?
I think so. And the outcome isn't similar to what Georgia did to TCU. So, if you're going to say that the conference sucks because the winner of that conference can't go toe-to-toe with the best teams in college football... then you're looking at one conference, and that's the SEC. So now you're just an SEC homer.
Okay.
So now you're the worst type of fan, and now everyone hates you, and now we got to come up with a new nickname for you, and we'll give you a real nickname. You are Fancy Trash Can, the SEC homer.
That's a horrible nickname. Try again later, because I'm not. But my point is still valid.
No, but I don't think it is.
Oh, at least the other teams are putting up contenders. I don't count TCU because here's the issue that I'm having. Right? Let's have me pump the brakes now. You throw Clemson or Alabama in instead of TCU, and you have a totally what is that? A 2-loss technically Ohio State team or a 1-loss Ohio State team?
1-loss Ohio State team, yes.
Over TCU, and you have a totally different playoff. And we're looking at possibly an extended playoff. We're looking at possibly
I think we are getting it. We are getting an extended playoff. 2024.
Yeah. We're looking at an extended playoff, and we're looking at restructuring, unfortunately. We're talking about 2 of these teams who were in the top 25 at the end of the season leaving. Possibly Colorado, whatever they do this year, and them leaving, and we know that the AP is going to rank them immediately. Sorry. the point I was trying to make before, and then I lost it, and then I got it back, is the committee is going to look at this and go, okay, we've let the Big 12 in twice, and both times it was TCU, and both times they got manhandled by two different conferences, mind you. We really got to stop doing this.
So
you know,
but now you're arguing that the Big 12 shouldn't be in, which I'm on board with. So I'm on board.
Let me finish my thought because
get there sooner.
Well, the second point is kind of going with you. The annoying part is there is a West Coast bias, right?
Sure, yes.
Especially in sports.
100%.
From the perspective of, we don't watch these games.
Yes, because they're on at 10 o'clock at night and they get over at 1 a.m. and people have to get up for church or whatever. Sunday morning, 100%.
Yeah. So, like, the issue that I'm having is, like, I want to see teams have a chance. At least TCU had like the Michigan game. The Michigan game, they had a chance. Georgia game, I don't think a 50 cal bullet could stop Georgia last year. I don't think an M1 tank could stop Georgia last year. But the issue that I'm having is there is something to say about the national comparison. We're dealing with national teams now.
There's something to say, but you literally said that the Pac-12 sucks as a conference because they can't go toe-to-toe with Georgia and Ohio State and Michigan. And I'm telling you, if that's your gauge on how you rank if a conference sucks or not, then every single conference sucks except the SEC.
And the Big Ten. Hold on.
But that's what I'm telling you.
Okay, yes. You have to also remember that I'm also not an SEC homer, because we're going to have this argument to wrap up the pod, but you're not an SEC homer because who's been cheering for UTSA the past 2 years?
No, I know.
And the Raging Cajuns and Coastal Carolina.
No, I get that. But what I'm trying to get through your head is that you're saying the Pac-12 sucks when the Pac-12 very clearly, at least based on last year's results, and we both went into last year and said the Pac-12 sucks last year. Yeah. It was USC and then it was everybody else. And I think that was actually the title of one of our podcast episodes, USC and everybody else, right?
Yeah.
It did not turn into that. It turned into 5 really good teams with 3 losses or less.
So here's my takeaway.
And the Big 12 actually sucks this year.
Yes. And last year.
And last year, 100%, except Kansas.
The Big 12,
Kansas is awesome.
The Kansas is awesome. Again, another reason I'm not an SEC homer. I was like, yeah, go Kansas. And then there was Kansas State. I was like, okay, you can stay to Kansas. Go Kansas.
Go Kansas.
Go Tigers. I think what if the one takeaway I have is you have to look at the Pac-12 within their own bubble. Because as a college football purist, if we want to go there, I'm not one of those. It's probably the purest and best conference to watch because of how half of it was ranked at the end of last year.
They're in a bubble. You have a point that the Pac-12 is in a bubble because, as you said, they're on the West Coast, 10 o'clock games, 8 o'clock games, whatever. Not a lot of people are watching Pac-12 late at night, right? Like, except for me and Roberto, who only make it to halftime of most of these games anyway. We're not watching. Most people aren't watching Pac-12, so I get it, and I do get that. And you have to take the Pac-12 results with a grain of salt because they will beat up on each other. And then when they do get in these national ranked games, they don't do so hot. But what I'm trying to say is the Pac-12 is actually a lot better than people seem to think that they are. And as long as USC and UCLA don't win the Pac-12, they're actually set up quite nicely moving forward, even losing those 2 teams.
That's the wrong...
You tried.
Where did my songs go? That's not it either. There
it is!
And with that, I think that's a great place to start. This has been 4th and 1 podcast, anchor.fm/4th and 1. Guys, thank you so much. We'll hope to see you again here in 2 weeks.
Wash your hands, yourself, the animals. God bless. 2 weeks.